The city skyline shimmered with neon lights as the bustling streets echoed with the hum of car engines and lively chatter. The year was 2024, and four young friends, Alex, Lisa, Ben, and Mia, sat around a table in an obscure, dimly lit café, engrossed in their latest obsession, decoding a cryptic journal Alex had discovered in his grandmother's attic. The journal, bound in worn leather, was filled with strange symbols and handwritten notes in faded ink. It had an air of mystery that none of them could resist. "I think this part here translates to something about time," Lisa said, pushing her glasses up her nose as she squinted at a particularly intricate symbol. "Look at these coordinates. They don't match anything modern. Or it's just a hoax," Ben scoffed, leaning back in his chair. He was the skeptic of the group, never quick to believe in anything that couldn't be logically explained. "Your grandma probably picked this up at some flea market." Alex shot him a glare. "She said it's been in our family for generations. She didn't even know it was there until I found it." Mia, ever the peacemaker, chimed in. "Well, hoax or not, it's fascinating. And we're all here because we want to know what it means, right?" Ben rolled his eyes but didn't argue further. They spent hours poring over the journal, piecing together fragments of information that seemed to hint at something extraordinary. Then, at the bottom of one page, they found an odd set of instructions. It described a ritual involving a specific location, a clearing in the woods just outside the city, and an exact time. "It's probably just some weird old superstition," Ben said, but the others could see the flicker of curiosity in his eyes. "Let's try it," Alex suggested. "What's the worst that could happen?" That's how they found themselves standing in the middle of the clearing at midnight, the journal in Alex's hands and a mixture of excitement and nervousness in their hearts. The air was cool and still, the only sound the rustling of leaves in the gentle breeze. Following the journal's instructions, they formed a circle and recited the words written in the margins of the page. At first, nothing happened. Ben was about to say something sarcastic when a sudden gust of wind whipped through the clearing, carrying with it a faint hum that seemed to resonate deep within their bones. The world around them began to blur and twist, colors and shapes merging into a dizzying vortex. They barely had time to gasp before everything went black. When they opened their eyes, the scene before them was unrecognizable. Gone were the tall skyscrapers and paved streets of their modern city. Instead, they found themselves standing on the edge of a bombed-out town. Smoke rose in the distance, and the sound of distant gunfire echoed through the air. A crumpled newspaper on the ground caught Mia's eye. She picked it up, her hands trembling as she read the date. June 15th, 1942. "This can't be real," Lisa whispered, her voice shaking. "We didn't just travel through time. It's probably some elaborate prank," Ben said, though he didn't sound convinced. Alex, however, was already scanning their surroundings with a mixture of awe and fear. "Look at the buildings, the cars, everything. This isn't a prank. We're in the middle of World War II. Their disbelief quickly gave way to panic as they realized the gravity of their situation. They had no idea how to return to their own time, and the dangers of being caught in a war zone were all too real. As they ventured cautiously into the town, they were met with suspicious glances from weary residents. Their modern clothing and mannerisms made them stand out, and it wasn't long before they attracted unwanted attention. A stern-looking man in a military uniform approached them, his eyes narrowing as he took in their strange appearance. "Who are you?" he demanded. "And what are you doing here?" Thinking quickly, Alex stammered, "We're refugees. We got separated from our group." The man's gaze lingered on them for a moment before he nodded. "Follow me. You'll be safer at the shelter." Reluctantly, they followed him to an underground bunker where dozens of people huddled together, their faces etched with fear and exhaustion. It was a sobering sight, and the friends couldn't help but feel a deep sense of guilt and helplessness. Over the next few days, they tried to adapt to their new reality while searching for a way back home. They kept their true origins a secret, knowing that revealing the truth would only make things worse. Each of them found ways to contribute. Mia helped tend to the wounded, Lisa assisted with ration distribution, Alex repaired damaged equipment, and even Ben, despite his grumbling, joined in the efforts to fortify the bunker. As they interacted with the people around them, they were struck by the resilience and camaraderie of those living through such hardship. They befriended a young soldier named Daniel, who shared stories of his family and dreams for the future. His optimism was a beacon of hope in an otherwise bleak world. But the war's harsh realities were never far away. One evening, as they huddled in the bunker during an air raid, the walls shook with the force of nearby explosions. The fear in the room was palpable, and the friends clung to each other, their modern sensibilities utterly unprepared for such terror. "We have to find a way back," Lisa whispered, her voice barely audible over the din. "We don't belong here." "I've been studying the journal," Alex said. "I think there might be a way to reverse what we did. But we need to get back to the clearing." The problem was that the clearing was now in the middle of a battlefield. The friends knew the journey would be dangerous, but they had no choice. With Daniel's help, they gathered supplies and planned their route, hoping to avoid the worst of the fighting. Their journey was harrowing. They witnessed the devastation of war up close. Ruined homes, desperate civilians, and the constant threat of enemy patrols. At one point, they were caught in a crossfire and narrowly escaped with their lives. The experience left them shaken, but more determined than ever. When they finally reached the clearing, it was eerily quiet. The symbols they had drawn during the ritual were still faintly visible, and Alex quickly set to work deciphering the journal's instructions for reversing the process. As they prepared to perform the ritual, they heard the distant rumble of approaching tanks. Time was running out. "Hurry up, Alex," Ben urged, his eyes darting nervously toward the horizon. "I'm going as fast as I can," Alex replied, his hands shaking as he flipped through the pages. Finally, they formed the circle once more and recited the words, their voices trembling with both fear and hope. The air around them began to hum, and the same vortex of light and color enveloped them. Just as the tanks came into view, they were pulled into the swirling void. When they opened their eyes, they were back in the clearing, but it was no longer 1942. The familiar sounds of their modern city filled the air, and the neon lights of the skyline glowed in the distance. They had made it home. The experience left them forever changed. They had seen the best and worst of humanity, and the bonds they had formed during their ordeal were unbreakable. The journal, now carefully stored away, served as a reminder of their incredible journey and the lessons they had learned about courage, resilience, and the enduring power of hope.